The fact is, right, this is the second time you use causation and correlation not being the same incorrectly, and I'm not even gonna cook you for that. But the point is this: what you said,
you cannot.
You didn't refute anything I said. You just tried to explain why, which is again because you care about things being fair. Like nobody, the truth doesn't give a shit about fairness. You just tried to explain. Well, there's more black women than black men. Okay, well, cool. That sounds great, right? However, what did I say that you refuted? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Context matters.
It's so sad that like instead of just again to Melanin's point, sometimes you just got to know when not to say nothing.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to cut anybody off. So it's not fair to mix, right? That when we compare the point that I was making, that as far as if people would choose marriage in today, it doesn't say that those same men would not have grown up in this day's society. So I don't want to say, well, yeah, they wouldn't choose these shitty ass women today. The gist of it is that most men did not want to get married then. That most men, as somebody else said, that marriage was more so a thing that women fantasize about. That this is something that women, especially in newer times, that they're looking at the white picket fence and their knight in shining armor. Oh my God, I'm so excited to get married. And men are like, oh, okay, this is what I have to do. So I can't say that even back then that they were so elated that they were like, oh my God, I can't wait to get married. That just wasn't something that was happening. So I don't want to mix just to say, well, yeah, it's because women are shitty. That's not the point. The point is that when they're given the choice, so whether or not, if you come up in a construct that says that this is what you're required to do, then when you turn 18, you get out the house, you go into the military, you get married, you do etc., that when you lose that construct, and then society says, which is the times that we are in now, that you have a choice. So you have a choice to decide what you want to do. We are not going to force these beliefs on you. That when given the choice, I don't think that people, as we're seeing that marriage selection is declining.
Hey, BK, you're somebody that's on the panel that I know has a strong male presence in their life, and like has great men around them.
Yeah.
Ask your father if he was coming up today, would he still be marriage minded with today's woman? And just see what he said. I challenge any of you that have a dad to ask him that question, because I asked my dad, I asked a couple uncles, and they all told me a slightly different variation of fuck no, because they understand what their kids are now dealing with. So they wouldn't want to deal with this shit either. So I challenge all of y'all to actually ask, so that way we don't have to, we're not guessing. Go ask those men in your life and see what they would say. You go ask your granddaddy, your uncles, your father, and see if he would, the ones that are married, not the single ones, because clearly they don't give a fuck about it anyway. But all those married men you have around you, if they had to do all over again in today's market with today's woman, would they get married? Put that back.
Which is fine. It's just a different point. It's still a different point that if those same men grew up in today's time, right, that's still totally different. That the point that was being made is that when you have to follow a social construct versus when you have a choice, that I think that people would still, choose not to be. So similarly to how earlier on people were talking about nature and how they don't find it to be in nature, you know, to be with one person, how it's acceptable for men to not be with one person, but if a woman isn't, then she's a whore. That I just believe that now when you break that requirement and that our black people are losing culture, our black people are straying away from a lot of the things that reared us in the beginning, then when you have that, the people just are not finding it desirable.
So I agree with the both of you guys, but I also strongly agree that the women in these today is just not wifey material. And just being on several platforms and hearing different men speak about they don't even want to date, women no more. It's hard for them to find a quality woman because of how the women are in our time. So it's not, far fetched for him to say that because it is proven.
Paris, what do you think the cause is?
Of why? I think it's a mixture. It's a mixture of things. I think social media is plays a good role in it, because a lot of the women are now being exposed to the different groups of women that's speaking out, like the feminists and the independent movement, and the way women speak, the language, and disrespect that they show towards men on platforms across the board is just now becoming more acceptable, and it's right in your face. A lot of women are very influential, so what they see, they adapt to. um, but some of it has to do with single family homes as well. You have a mother that's out working extra hard to provide for a home, so she's not at home raising the children and teaching these principles in the children these days. And then you had a era of women that just wanted to be free and feel like they wanted to live their life. So it's a mixture of reasons. It's not, I can't say it's just one reason, but it's definitely a shift, a change.
So all of those reasons can be traced back to capitalism. Like I think that we keep forgetting that that exists, and that is why a lot of people are one single, and all of these households, single parent households exist. It can be traced back to capitalism. So that is what is to blame. And then we can, talk about everything after that. But yeah. Um, however, comma, I think that this whole conversation about marriage is so disingenuous. Like everybody has different reasons for why they make the decisions that they make in their lives. And we sit up here and we blame women, and then we blame men, and then we blame women, and then we blame men. So it's just a lot of finger pointing when men have their own reasons, women have their own reasons. We have our own responses to each other when we choose to live our lives the way we want to live our lives. If you raise your children the way you choose to raise your children and do the best you can, I can guarantee you they're going to find somebody else's child that aligns with them, because you're not alone. And it doesn't mean that anybody else is wrong. Like my mother wasn't wrong for raising me the way she raised me. She raised me to be very intelligent. She raised me to be smart and be more than just my looks, because looks fade. She wanted me to be more than that, be substantial. There is a man out there that likes that. So, and all men are not going to like me, and that's okay. I don't have to be picked by all men. Do you know how frustrating it is dealing with a bunch of men trying to pick you? It's not fun. They're annoying. So, I'm just looking for one. Just one. And that is okay. Like nothing that I do is wrong. It just doesn't fit some men. And I'm okay with it. Like people need to be okay with how it is. Like society is run differently. This is the United States, the land of freedom, or whatever fake ass shit that they be telling y'all. And so we get to do whatever we want to do, whatever that means. And so you are in a society that goes by that. For why the fuck is you mad? So just pick the people who you align with and leave everybody else alone. Why do we keep talking about people we don't want?
So when you say pick, do you mean pick for physical or carnal relations, or are you talking about marriage?
No, if you want to be married, pick the type of person that aligns with you. And if you
Oh, okay.
don't want to be married, pick the type of person that aligns with you.
So basically, you're saying pick who likes you and who works for you. Okay.
Simple.
And
You see? But men come on here and women come on here and try to change each other. I just be telling the truth. I ain't trying to change nobody. Y'all do what you want to do. Get your dicks wet if you want to until they too soft to get anything. And so I want people to just pick who likes you. Like some of these women don't like some of these men because they're unlikable. Go pick women who don't care about liking you, and that's okay. The unlikable men need to find the women that just don't care.
I would say that works for both sides though, because again, you know, men tend to be having a higher success rate with relationships than women are. So I think that advice should probably be shouted more towards, you know, the fairer sex than the rougher sex.
What's that criteria based on?
The fact men? that there are more single black women than there are single black men. There are more black women who have, you know, there are more single black men who don't have children than y'all have. Because again, y'all are doing all the fucking and none of the marrying, and less than half of the marrying. So, I mean, it's just based off the fact that you guys are fucking for free and getting the outcomes that come from that.
So let's dig deeper into the criteria. So one, when you look at the population, that when it comes to our society, there are more women than there are men.
So that's why my point stands.
No, so demographics, all of these things are factors that matter. So if you look at our society, then when you look at the homosexuality that takes place, and when you look at viable, so that when someone was talking about pickings and then someone says something like, oh, well, women need to stop picking stupid men. If you have 50% of the population, I mean, you picking from your pickings. You go to the grocery store and you see fruit, whatever's there, the rotten fruit mixed with the good fruit, whatever it is. So you can't just, causation again does not equal correlation. And when you go into the factors as to how we outnumber, when you go into the factors as to the quality of, etc., then it just doesn't support what you're saying.
The fact is, right, this is the second time you use causation and correlation not being the same incorrectly, and I'm not even gonna cook you for that. But the point is this:
you cannot.
You didn't refute anything I said. You just tried to explain why, which is again because you care about things being fair. Like nobody, the truth doesn't give a shit about fairness. You just tried to explain, well, there's more black women than black men. Okay, well, cool. That sounds great, right? However, what did I say that you refuted? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Context matters.
It's so sad that, like, instead of just, again, to Melanin's point, sometimes you just got to know when not to say nothing. Like, there's no point in saying things that aren't going to, like, Martin didn't even argue against that. And Martin's the one, he's the statistical one here. He's the one with all the numbers. He didn't even argue against it. It's like, damn, it's simply saying, again, it's like, maybe, I don't know, it's a lot of y'all, I told you, we had this type that just want to argue with me about this shit. But goddamn, like, didn't say nothing to change what we were talking about. The fact that
context
women are
matters.
doing worse when it comes to relationships. Black women are doing worse than when it comes to black men. Who gives a damn about the why? That's not what we're here for. We're not having a solution.
So one, there isn't
we're talking about what it is. You're trying to explain why, and nobody asked you that.
So context matters. Context matters significantly.
So does the definition of context.
Whoever the person is that does numbers, whoever you reference, because I don't know any of the people that are on the panel, then they understand that there's a story behind it. So as an example, if during COVID in 2020, I said 99% of the people wear masks, therefore people must love masks. That is a fucking lie. They were mandated to wear masks. Context matters. The question is, why does this exist? So you can't just throw blanket numbers out there like 99% of them, so all of y'all wear masks. So this is happening. So all of you all women in the community, in the black community, are shittier than the black men. So if you knew data, if you knew the way that it works, you would understand the context associated with it. The question is, why is that? It's not that you're just throwing out, raw information.
I wasn't speaking to the why, but this just sounds more like a hit dog holler. I don't have anything to add to it. I'm just giving the what. I don't care about the why. No one asked me the why.
That is exactly
the only person that benefits from giving the why is you, because you get to explain why your people or black women are in this dire straits, and that's cool. I wasn't doing it.
So let me help you out, Willie, real quick. So let's just say this is going to be real quick, just for this particular point, just to hammer this down, because everyone's going to have all the reasons, right? But I've crunched these numbers already. And if you take every single factor that people like to use, like incarceration rate, homosexuality, and everything, there's still just about 8 to every 10 women, right? But the rate is roughly half. So there's still a great disparity when you're talking about the people who are actually being married versus the people who are available to be being married. So it's not equal. No one's going to make that argument. but it's just about 8 available men to every 10 women. So that would mean that 80% of Black women have the opportunity to marry a Black man if they wanted to.
I was just trying to throw that oot to Monk because I know he had the stats and he been doing his media, man. That was all. But thank you, Trev. I appreciate you for illustrating my point.
You said there's 8 women to every 10 men, Black women. Is that what you say that one more time?
Yeah,
go.
just about 8 to 10 after factoring incarceration, homosexuality, and every excuse that people like to move when they make those talking points.
I thought it was opposite. I thought it's wait.
So basically, BK, after all the excuses that women give, after you take all of those out, there's 8 men that are valid. That's all you're saying.
8 men that are valid, 10 women who want them. Okay. I'm sorry, I got lost.
But that's all.